Oh my God!
Is that a person? He's not moving.
Stretcher secure. Prepare for immediate ascent.
Affirmative. Lifting now. Watch the rotor wash.
Joanna Shields was the kind of person who made the world feel more alive simply by being in it. Originally from Carlsbad, California, she was known by her online community as JoJo Jo Skates, a username that captured her spirit perfectly. Skateboarding wasn't just a hobby for Joanna, it was a core part of her identity. She worked for a company that manufactured electric skateboards, merging her passion with her professional life in a way most people only dream of. Her social media presence painted a vivid portrait of someone addicted to adventure. She posted from hiking trails, open spaces, and wilderness areas across the American West, her smile as wide as the landscapes she explored. In one Instagram Live that her followers would later revisit with heavy hearts, Joanna looked directly into the camera and spoke with raw gratitude. "My life," she said. "Can I just say, this is me showing gratitude." She described her personal motto as "slow is smooth, smooth is fast," a phrase she said helped her resist the urge to charge through life the moment she opened her eyes each morning. Joanna was also candid about her struggles. In another video posted to YouTube, she talked openly about her battles with depression and anxiety and what it...
Big Sur, California is one of the most breathtaking and unforgiving stretches of wilderness in the entire United States. Carved by the Santa Lucia Mountains plunging into the Pacific Ocean, the region is famous for dramatic coastlines, ancient redwood groves, and a trail system that rewards the brave with views that seem too beautiful to be real. But beauty in Big Sur comes with danger. The terrain is steep, the weather unpredictable, and the remoteness of many areas means that help, if needed, can be hours away. Sykes Hot Springs, located deep in Los Padres National Forest, is one of the area's most beloved and most remote destinations. Reaching it requires hiking the Pine Ridge Trail, a route that is documented as seriously challenging, steep, rugged, and demanding. Most hikers who make the journey do so over multiple days, camping along the way. The hot springs themselves are nestled along the Big Sur River, surrounded by dense forest and the kind of silence that only truly wild places offer. It was in this extraordinary but isolating landscape that Joanna Shields' final adventure brought her. The same rugged beauty that draws outdoor enthusiasts from across the country also made the area extremely difficult for emerging.
On the morning of April 9th, 2025, a group of hikers was making their way through the Sykes Hot Springs area of Los Padres National Forest when they came across something that stopped them cold. There, in one of the most remote and beautiful corners of California, was the body of a woman. She was pale, lying face down near the water, naked. The hikers, speaking later to KSBW television, described what they saw in careful detail. "I didn't see any blood," one witness said. "She was pale. She had markings around her neck." When a firefighter lifted the jacket covering part of her body, it was confirmed she also had a significant gash on her head. The woman was Joanna Shields, but the hikers found something else at the scene, something that would loom large in the investigation that followed. A man who said he was Joanna's friend. He told the hikers that Joanna had gone to clean herself off in the river around 10:30 that morning. When she didn't return, he said, he went looking for her and found her face down in the water. The hikers' description of this man was striking. His face, they said, looked numb and dull. He appeared nervous, shocked. On one hand, we didn't know if he was just having the worst day of his life, one hiker said, or on the other, like he had just killed someone. The hikers gave statements to authorities and alerted emergency services. A helicopter was eventually dispatched. Joanna's body could not be retrieved until April 10th.
The Monterey County Sheriff's Office took charge of the case, and from the outset, their approach was deliberate and cautious. They labeled Joanna's death suspicious, a designation that stopped short of calling it a homicide, but made clear this was no routine situation. Investigators were not prepared to rule out foul play, and they were not prepared to declare it an accident either. In law enforcement terms, This was what is known as an unattended death, a death with no credible neutral witness to explain what happened, and best practice demands that such deaths be treated as potential crimes until evidence proves otherwise. Retired detective and law enforcement instructor Matt Irvine, speaking to the Law and Crime Network, explained the thinking. When you start leaping to assumptions and decide that something is accidental or natural before all the facts are in, you miss things. Evidence gets lost, it gets contaminated, and it's very hard to undo those missteps later in the investigation. Investigators focused on 3 pillars: what Joanna's body could tell them, what the scene itself could reveal, and what the people in her life had to say. The remote location presented real challenges for evidence collection. The proximity to water was particularly difficult. Water degrades evidence, washes things away, and can introduce foreign materials. The rugged terrain made the scene hard to process thoroughly. Meanwhile, the man who had been present at the scene was a critical figure, not a named suspect, but someone whose account was essential to understanding what had happened to Joanna Shields in her final hours.
When the autopsy results came back, investigators were hoping for clarity. What they got instead was more mystery. The medical examiner was unable to determine Joanna's cause of death. The autopsy returned inconclusive. It was a result that left the case suspended in uncertainty, with no definitive answer to the most basic question: what killed her? One piece of evidence had drawn particular attention from the beginning: the markings on Joanna's neck that the hikers had described. From their account, observers feared the worst, that the marks were evidence of strangulation, that someone had choked the life out of this young woman.
As of the reporting of this story, the death of Joanna Shields remains an open and actively investigated mystery. No arrest has been made. No cause of death has been confirmed. Foul play has not been ruled out, and neither has accident or natural causes. The case sits in a difficult and painful in-between. A young woman's life ended, her family and friends grieving, and no clear explanation on the horizon. Investigators are pursuing every available avenue. Witness interviews remain central. The hikers who found her body, the man who claimed to be her friend, and the wider circle of people in Joanna's life. Authorities are looking at her relationships, her communications in the days before her death, whether anyone in her life had reason to harm her, or whether she had expressed fear of anyone. As Matt Irvine noted, when women are killed, the perpetrator is overwhelmingly an intimate partner or former intimate partner, making those relationships a natural focus of any investigation. The pending toxicology report could prove decisive, or it could raise yet more questions. Certain substances leave the body quickly. Others linger in tissue and hair for weeks,